Hey there, Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to a new video. This week I am making something, well, one of my favorite types of play sets when I was a kid was anything that incorporated a really cool gimmick. Much like the transporter play set where you could put a figure in and beam it and it would disappear. We're going to be doing something kind of like that. Obviously, you've already seen what we're doing. We're going to take this, which was from the 1990 cartoon of Swamp Thing. If you remember the show Swamp Thing, I think it only ran one season. They had a very limited toy line. If you follow my making of action figures on Facebook and Instagram, you'll have seen where I took a Swamp Thing figure and turned him into Trevis from Star Trek Voyager. You should check that out when you get a chance. I'll get around to showing him here on the channel at some point. But so, if you remember, there was different toys that had the other toys that had the Presto Changeo sort of feature. Like, I think one of the Batman Bat Caves, you could put a Bruce Wayne figure in, and then you'd press the thing, and what it was it just did a real fast turn, and there was a Batman figure on the other side, so it looked like he'd real quick changed into his bat suit. Well, that's what this is. This kit was actually made, I'm gonna switch over. It was from the villain whose name I cannot remember right this minute. I barely remember the cartoon at all. Who it was to turn the good guys into bad guys. So I have stuck a Tom Paris as a Maquis figure in here, and what you do, you close up the chamber, and there's this dill full of green goo on the side. And you give it a turn upwards, so now the green goo has gone into Tom Paris, and it has turned him into a Mugato. Now, obviously, the trick is, let me grab here, I'll just use a little paintbrush and I'll trigger the little latch there, and you'll see there's two sides of the table. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to turn this into a BORG infection chamber. Idea being we could take and stick a Captain Picard figure in the one side and a Locutus in the other, and, you know, put it in there like we're going to turn Captain Picard, do this, the green goo, which I'm going to be keeping that just the way, I'm going to be keeping this chamber almost identical to the way it is, just painting it. But that'll be sort of like the nano probe type things. Now, some things that I have done beforehand that you'll want to be aware of. If you remember this BORG playset, the mini BORG thing, a while back I made a silicone mold of this side of the BORG ship so that I can make a whole bunch. And I'll see if you can catch the details with the light, because this is just this flat resin at the moment. And I'm going to use these along the outside edge here. I'm going to put them all the way around on the outside to sort of help BORG it up. I don't know about this skull motif. That's not really something the BORG would have. I may just, once it's painted black, kind of let it blend in. There's a couple of panels here, and then there's also a sort of a computer panel here that I have made a sticker sheet, and we'll be putting some of those. Then here's the BORG alcove background. I'm going to be putting that in here on the bed there as part of that. But I printed off a few different other things that I might just stick onto the floor, you know, put the BORG logo on the floor or something like that. And then lastly, on the old toy, there was some kind of chamber thing that had hoses that run off to it. And I am going to be making some types of hoses and stuff that'll connect up here, that'll connect down here, and then there's another spot there on the back that hoses connect to. And I am going to get all that done again. But I got this lid off of, we get these drinks, for the drink mixes from the store for making it's basically like Kool-Aid type stuff, because you like to have something different to drink other than water and sodas, you know. And I'm going to be putting this, I'm going to glue it on to that spot right there just to cover that sort of weird hole. I don't really have anything other than that to do with it. I've debated, since this is a semi-clear lid, if I can possibly get a hole cut in the bottom. I might take and get one of those little tea light candle lights and put in the bottom of that. Maybe paint it green to sort of have a green glowing kind of thing. That's going to be the main thing, is that once I get all of these little panels put on and all that, I'm going to first just do a black base coat. And then I've got this sort of neon green that I'm probably going to do. If you've ever watched any other model builders, miniature makers, anybody like that, they'll talk about a zenithal highlight, and what that is that you paint your whatever you're doing entirely black, and then you pick an angle from above and hit it with like a white or a light gray in order to add sort of a light effect. I think I might actually do that with this fluorescent green that I have. Probably from coming in from this angle. Let me put this, coming in from this angle, and just to give it sort of that BORG green kind of glow over everything before I then come in and put the stickers and whatever I do. But really, that's what I'm gonna show you a little bit of attaching the panels. I'm not gonna make too big a deal out of that, because it's literally just cutting some panels and gluing them onto the surface. And so then after that, we'll jump cut to it being base coated, and then I'm gonna definitely be hitting it with some gunmetal gray, especially on some of this top stuff, and probably on these floor panels as well, just to really get them to bring it out. And then the last thing, I'll be putting stickers on, and yeah, and then getting a Picard and a Locutus put in there, and it'll be ready to go. So let's get to it. take a look at where we're at real quick. I haven't painted yet, obviously. I wanted to show you a few things before we start painting. So, obviously, I have gotten the panels put all the way around on all four sides of the base. I've added a bunch of different little greeblies from different figures and such. I had this old computer board type deal here, and I took and I ran the wires around to look interesting. And I took this tube and ran it around and glued it into a couple places just to sort of give it a little bit of interest. Haven't done anything different in here. This looks exactly like it did before, which is fine. Just glued this one greebly here on the front. And then I took, and you remember I told you I was going to use this container thing, this lid. I cut off the top, what is that, about a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch of the container, and glued it on there so that I can actually just take and pop the lid on and off. And these are actually a couple of the BORG arms from some of the figures. And what I'll do is I'm going to actually, when I go to paint this, I will leave this completely off, and I'm going to just paint a rim around this edge, because I want to leave this bottom piece here semi-transparent, so that I can take and stick a light down in the bottom of this and have it shine. And then I just took and I made this. It's a combination of a couple of the accessories from the figures that I'm going to take and paint this up so it looks sort of like a holographic rendering of a sort of humanoid kind of thing going on. And it can sit next to the completed base there. And I realized one thing, I haven't shown any figures with this at all. Well, I did show when I had them inside, but not on the outside. So, just so you have a sense of scale, there is this computer panel here, which I will be putting a sticker on. I have something planned for that. And then you can see here that we've got, and this is just a war figure that I had sitting by. So the scale actually works really perfectly well with these. And of course, most of the figures fit in here really, really well. So, yeah, that is where we're at. Now it's time to paint. Okay, so been a couple of days, few days since I recorded the last part. As you can see, I have painted this. Let me catch you up on the one thing that I did that I didn't show you. So you remember I had this here where I'm gonna drop stuff. So I found these little plastic bits that I can set in here, and I took a one of those fake little candles that you have no clue is lit up. There you can see it against the dark. And you can set that in there. So on the lid, I painted the rim black, and then I took this sparkly green translucent paint and painted it all over the top of the lid so that it looks like sort of organic goo kind of stuff in a large vat of whatever you want to call it. So now as far as the body here, I'll pop that open, let you see inside. I took and I base coated this with a primer that was actually sort of an orange color. So if you see that leaking through, that's what that is. Like I see a piece a little bit up under here under the lid, which is really well hidden, so I'm not worried about that. And then I did everything in gloss black, and then hit it with a little bit of silver to get these sort of silvery specks all over it. And so the first thing I'm going to do, I've got these three green paints. I've got a neon green, a glow-in-the-dark green, and a color shift green, which this is the sort of example. It sort of shifts between green and gold. And I'm going to be going all over this, putting little accents of various green shades, sort of some drips and that kind of thing all over it. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do now, and you'll just kind of see it in high speed. And yeah, so let's get started. Oh, I guess I should tell you, then after that I will do some accents. Well, I'll go first with the gunmetal gray, and then I'm going to dry brush a few accents in just plain silver, but that'll be the second part of what I do. And then after that, we'll be getting a coat on it, a clear coat on it, and then putting some stickers, and we'll be good to go. But let's do some painting. lost my mind because it was incredibly green and splotchy and weird. But once you get the dry brushing of the gunmetal gray and a few little flecks of silver on there, it looks pretty good. And it'll look even better when we get done. So, I need to put the stickers on, and once we've got that, it should be ready. They're just a couple of sort of decorative stickers. These two I got from the background of the BORG boxed set that was the Playmates figures of Locutus and a BORG figure. And then on the front, we've got this computer console, and then I made these two screens here. Those are from the show. They're just screen grabs from the show. And then on the bed itself, I used I did a sticker of the background of a BORG regeneration alcove, and of course it's mirrored on this side as well, with the green nano probe kind of design. And then I took some of the BORG walls from earlier episodes I used as just something to sort of add something interesting on the inside of the lid. So with that, I did already put a clear coat on this earlier, so we're gonna call that good. So how about we go to the beauty shots?
What's this? The BORG have surprised the crew of the USS Enterprise?
Oh no, the BORG has taken Captain Picard. The BORG Queen.
On board the BORG Cube, Captain Picard is placed into a strange chamber.
Activate BORG Assimilation Chamber. Oh look, the nanites are entering the chamber.
What's happened to Captain Picard?
Are we too late?
Can you help save Captain Picard from the BORG?
Let's turn the captain into the cutie.
BORG conversion chamber not available wherever toys are sold, not a real product, and do not look for it anywhere. Made by JD Makes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And here it is. All done. The BORG Assimilation Chamber. This has been something I've been wanting to make for a very long time. I'm glad I finally got to do it. And it is so cool. And I can warn you now, if you want one of these, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be very expensive. Because the chamber that I used to make this from Swamp Thing, they are no longer very cheap. But good luck to you. If you got questions, send them my way. I'll possibly see if I can help you out. I hope that you have enjoyed this, that you got a kick out of seeing the chamber in action. Oh, Locutus doesn't want to stay in place. Now I can't get the door open. It's very angry chamber. Guess it's because it's BORG. Anyways, I do want to send a big shout out to my buddy Royce and his dad Vance. Royce was the voice of the kid that you heard in the little commercial that I made. And his dad Vance, if you are around, see the a lot of the Star Trek fan films, Vance Owen is his last name. He goes by V-Man. He's been involved in a ton of the Star Trek fan films, and he's kind of moved out of doing that, but he got his kid into it, and I was like, I need the voice of a kid. So I asked if Royce would be interested in doing this for me, and I've got some more projects, some more play sets, the stuff that we're going to be working on over the year, and so I've talked to him about that, and we might try and see about getting one of those where it looks like he's interacting with the toy, kind of like the old school commercials. That's kind of the aesthetic I'm going for, is the old school commercial vibe. But that is it for this week, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.
If you enjoy my videos and want to see more, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Also, you can support the show by signing up on Patreon, or head over to Zazzle to pick up prints of my artwork, prints on canvas, t-shirts, and other merch. You can find me on social media. For more information and updates on the channel, all info is below. If you didn't enjoy the video, why are you still here? Do you want a song? Ba ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, them, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, who can screw himself. You can listen to somebody else.